This is why Master Teacher says, when you think to lust upon a person, he says you already done it. Because thought is the beginning of creation. It's just a matter of time. Unless you interrupt, it's not wrong for the thought to come, to be tempted, as we call it. It's when you start entertaining the thought that you don't want to think, that's taking you off course, that's keeping you from being successful, keeping you from being healthy, keeping you from that loving relationship, keep you from creating that $1 million empire. When error comes, she's like, that's not taking me where I want to go, and you replace it. So the formula is, when error comes, it says, resist evil, and it will flee. You can say devil, evil, error. Draw near to God, good, or the thing that you desire, and it will draw near to you. Creators, whatever it is that you're giving your attention to, that's what's going to show up most often in your life. That's what you're experiencing right now. You can understand why you're operating from a place of lack, poor health, broken relationships. And we all have these things. It's no judgment. But I know when it shows up in my life, I know who the cause is. It's not some being outside of me that's saying, well, let me see if I can tempt him. It's my own error thinking. So since I acknowledge, I take ownership of it, I can change it. If it's a being outside of you that you're giving credit to, you have no control. If it's the government, you have no control. If it's the president, you have no control. When you can control your own inner conversation, no matter what's going on out there, be in the world, but not of the world. Judge not according to appearance, but judge righteously. Again, the word righteous comes up. Right thinking in accordance to what you want to manifest in your life. You understand? As you consistently begin to think more in a line, hey, I'm on my way to $1 million. And understand this, please. You could be broke. Mountains of credit card debt. Speak to the mountain. And you can start operating from the place of a multi-millionaire. You start seeing that in your mind's eye. You start living from it. That debt's going to start falling away. Things are going to start happening. You're going to learn how to overcome that debt, that poor relationship, whatever. But you first have to see it in your mind's eye. All creation starts there. As you do it consistently and persistently, I've seen this over and over and over again. As you do this consistently and persistently, you've seen it over and over and over again. You may have seen it in things that you did not desire, but that's because that's what you were giving your attention to. If you keep giving the power to a force, God's in you. I'm not discounting the God that's also everywhere, but ultimately the kingdom of God is in you as you. And we're all connected. This is why it says, what you do to another, you do to yourself. When they speak of unforgiveness, it says, if you don't forgive your neighbor her trespassing, your heavenly Father won't forgive you of your trespassing. That's only signifying that whatever you're transmitting to the hologram called reality, it's going to come back to you. Remember the seed, whatever seed that you're sowing, it's going to give birth to a harvest. So if the seed is unforgiveness, guess what the harvest is going to be back to you? Let's go to this next verse and then I'll wrap it up. I got this on my other phone, and so I got this picture, so of course I run my mouth so much that the phone times out, so I have to open it back up and get to the image. But for I know the plans that I have for you, declares the Lord. Again, I like to say the Lord is the law of right decree. What are you decreeing morning, noon, and night? Decree a thing and it shall come to pass. For I know the plans that I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you, not to harm you. Plans to give you a hope and a future. This is God's plans for you. Whatever you think. There was a man by the name of W. Clement Stones. And he started off as a very poor boy, but he became, in the 1940s, 50s, 60s, all the way into the 80s before he passed, he became a insurance mogul worth several $1 billion at the time of his death. He was like this eternal optimist. He was always believing that life was conspiring for his good. And there's a scripture that says in Romans 8:28, I believe that all things are working together for my good, no matter how they're showing up. He took this literally. And one of his employees, executives, lost $1 million contract. And the guy says, I guess you're going to fire me now. He says, why on the earth would I fire you? I just made $1 million investment in you. And the guy became one of the prime employees of that organization. What you believe about life, if you believe that life sucks, for example, I promise you what you're going to do is see all the evidence that life sucks. Now somebody's going, oh, here's that positive thinking. There's something to it. Listen, he, she that orders his, her conversations are right in the direction. Now, if you want life to suck, then just keep saying that life sucks. Say that this guy is crazy, this stuff doesn't work, and keep thinking the way that you're thinking, but keep getting the results that you're getting and wonder, why do I keep getting the same results? I had a friend of mine, and we were talking on the phone. This was many years ago. And she says, you know, every time I move someplace, the people just seem to be horrible. And I told her, I said, you know, well, those people are not horrible to everyone. I said, so you really need to consider the common denominator. You know, and so I was talking to a friend of mine, and this was a guy. He's like, now this was like his 5th marriage. And he's like, DeCarlo, when you marry them, they change. And I said, Calvin, what I'm seeing out of 5 marriages, there's only one common denominator. You understand what I'm saying? If something keeps showing up in our world, and life is trying to show us something, and either we can continue on in that path, I call it the proverbial Groundhog Day, for those who know Bill Murray's Groundhog Day movie, or we can say, you know what, I got to address this, I got to start thinking differently, I got to let some things go. Whatever it is, he, she that orders his, her conversations are right in accordance to what it is that you want to be to have. I'm not talking about religion. I'm not saying that you got to now do 10 Hail Marys and you got to go to church. This is he, she that orders their thinking, their conversation, their inner conversations in accordance to what it is that they want to be to or have. That's a right. Now, if you're happy right now with the way that everything is showing up in your life right now, keep thinking and doing the exact same thing that you're doing. I wasn't. And I made a decision early on in life that I couldn't stay in that alcoholic environment. I couldn't stay in that abusive environment. I didn't know how the change was going to take place, but I envisioned myself traveling the world. I envisioned myself having things that at the moment I could not even imagine how I was going to get it. I imagined myself having a certain type of income. Had no idea how it was going to show up. I just imagined it to be so. I didn't even know what the heck I was doing. I didn't know that imagination creates reality. I had no clue. But it was all I had left to do. When you have nothing to lose, I'm saying if nothing else, test this. Don't go on because I say it or somebody else. Test it for yourself. Give it 30 days and start monitoring your thoughts and watch what shows up as you're thinking. If you see that this is true, simply start changing your thinking. The way that you work as a creative spiritual being, a mini God, I shouldn't say that because that turns some people off because that religious mind flares up. I'm just telling you who you are. But you start thinking on the wall of your imagination. It's an indicator to this holograph called reality to give me more of that. And this is why I tell you not to complain, because of course that's what you're shooting on the holograph projector or projection. You're the projector. It's taking it as a request. Now, like I said, if you're happy with what's showing up, just simply keep doing what you've been doing. Nothing needs to change. This is not about me. I gain nothing from it. I'm not looking for followers or anybody. Matter of fact, this channel is going away shortly anyway. So what I'm saying to you is whatever it is that you want, if you want more money, if you want loving relationship, if you want better health, start imagining it. Whatsoever things, again, the word was whatsoever, whosoever, in the verse before that, whatsoever things you believe when you pray, believe that you already have. This is how it works. People take these things that people quote from scriptures as these euphemisms, these, formulas and so forth. What they were giving you was how mind works, how reality works. This is not religion. It just happens to be in a religious text because we've turned it into a religious text. But from Genesis to Revelation, no matter what your belief system is, this is your story. This telling you, going to each of the different personas in the Bible, you clothe yourself being a spiritual being. You clothe yourself in those attitudes. You say, well, Coach, how do I clothe myself? You start thinking, feeling, acting, pretending, acting as if, make-believing, fantasizing. The stuff that we learned as a child is the stuff that can transform our lives, but we've been talked out of nonsense, child's play. Get your head out of the clouds. Stop daydreaming. The wealthiest people in the world do this day in and day out. The most brilliant scientific people that we see do this day in and day out. It's the other 97% plus that don't have a clue, that imagination, fantasizing, make-believe, pretending, acting as if. That's imposter syndrome. The imposter is you believing that you're less than God. That's the imposter, because you don't know your true identity. And I know religious folks are going to come in, that's blasphemy, that's heresy, because they're so religiously minded that they're no earthly good. That's the fact. I'm telling you, sir, I was that person. I got saved at 14. Can you imagine the religiosity that I grew up in? I'm sitting there trying to convert alcoholics and people in different sexual orientations, people that are doing crimes in the street. This is my family members. And I'm trying to convert them. I was very religious. I've lost wonderful people in my life because I was so religious. So for those religious people, I understand. But thank God I was awakened to understand that it's nothing out there. God's in you, the hope of glory. I didn't even make that up. Guys, start thinking in accordance, no matter what your beliefs are. Please don't take this as a religious lesson, please. No matter what your belief system is. This is not about a membership. Now, if you want to go to church and all those things, then you get into the membership. This is not about a membership. What I'm saying to you, it doesn't matter your religious orientation. You can be atheist, agnostic, Hindu, Jew, Christian, Muslim. This is how you've been designed. And when you were designed, it didn't say everybody that's a Christian, this is going to work for. Everybody that's a Muslim, this is going to work for. Everybody that's a Buddhist, this is going to work for. Everybody that's an atheist, this is going to work for. It said whosoever. I want you to get, this is how you've been created. This is who you are. This is who you are. You're a spiritual being having a human experience. What you thought, I just made up. What you think will ultimately, if you're thinking and holding it in as a man, woman thinks in his, her heart, so is she. So is he. It's going to be outpictured in your reality. Everything that you have up until this moment has been the byproduct of everything that you've thought up until this moment. Everything that you will have from this moment forward will be the byproduct of what you start thinking right now. Why not give it a try and start thinking loving, abundance, prosperous, generous, whatever, from this moment, and test it for yourself. And come to me a year from now, 5 years from now. Appreciate you, love you, and hopefully you took something away from it. Have a great and abundant day.